Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome back to a brand new camp build. So today we have a bit of an Alpine cabin kind of a feel, something of a sort of summer house from pre-war that's been taken over. And yeah, reasonably simple basic structure on this one. Worked well if you're not wanting to build anything overly complex, but it really comes to life on the inside and on the decoration, which I'm really happy with how that came out. So let's jump in, take a look at the area we've actually built this in. We've got a nice clean flat area, reasonably flat anyway, nice bit of water there. Pretty good location. Excuse the eyes on my character, they're kind of terrifying. But here we go. So right in the middle of Savage Divide, just north of Emmett Mountain Disposal, just across from the White Spring there. Have Big Fred's Barbecue Shack just to the north, and the National Isolated Radio Array just over to the west. So really good location this. There's a few spots in this sort of central area that are really cool to build. Got a couple of other fun ideas that I'd like to try out here as well at some point. So, let's get this foundation in first. Worth bearing in mind, you're going to need quite a lot of concrete to build something of this scale, particularly with the concrete foundations. I think I went through something in the region of 100, just getting the foundations in. Not actually necessary to have quite that much, because I ended up making it bigger than I needed to. The finalised version of this will be a 5x5 main foundation, whereas my initial one ended up in 6x6 and other bits and pieces as well. So 5x5 is what you really need to work on, although we'll be adjusting that as we go. So simplest way to make sure you got it right, just do the outside and then fill it in afterwards. As I say, I ended up having to run around a fair bit and go on multiple runs for concrete. So fortunately, I picked up a few reasonable places to get some over the however long we've been doing this now, well, just over a year. So that did help quite a lot, but yeah, as you can see, slight issues there. But stocked up again. I'll get the rest of this central region filled in, as if by magic, and we'll run out again. So be right back. There we go, job done. Magic of editing. So, I wanted a little kind of front porch on this, and this is where we start running into a couple of small issues. A bit too close to the edge here with this initial foundation size, which is why I shrunk it down. See, we're right on the edge of the build area there, so it's not going to leave us with any room to play with it. So pull off this front section, and then just take off front line of foundation pieces here to give us a bit more depth on that porch. I'll end up taking off one of the side ones as well and reducing it down to that 5x5 I mentioned before. But we'll do that in just a moment. I encountered a slight issue here that I've seen before, namely that the game seems to think this front foundation piece is floating, despite the fact it's clearly not, and I ended up having to server hop in order to get it to figure that one out. But it took a little while to get there. But first, I want this little porch to be on a lower level to the main building, just to give it a bit more character. So I'm going to select the foundation, and I'm using the mouse wheel, but I think it's a stick on console, and just hold the select button and just pop it down a level. Nice and easy, not too fussed about having it link up with sort of half-height walls or anything like that, so it works fine. Now we've got a bit of improved weather back, put some walls in. So stone on the lower section, you can see we've got it down to that 5x5 now, and the doors lined up right in the middle. We know where we're working out from here. So this porch also had a few other issues that I had ideas in mind that just didn't quite work out. It was on the same level as the rest of the foundation. First thing I wanted to do here was to have basically a floating roof supported by the metal posts that we'll see in a moment. Because I've lowered the foundation down, it won't connect to the main wall with the bit with the door on it. It's just too low. So I had to include a wall on the side. So slight change of plan there. But I wanted to put the pillars in anyway to create a bit more of an artistic vibe, I suppose. Make it look a little different. So a couple of foundations snapped onto the side and a staircase. We'll snap some floors onto that staircase and work them around the outside of the roof, just so that they're a bit offset. That way we can have the pillars lining up with the corners of the roof rather than partway along the sides. And there we go. See, they're snapping into the floors. We'll whip those off in a bit, and that will allow us to have them sat on the corners. So, same around this side. Let's cooperate. There we go. Unfortunately, this wall is in the way, so we'll have to take the whole roof and that wall off again before we can put the last pillar in. So, quick as you like. There we go. Get the floors back in, which I probably didn't need to take off, to be honest, but anyway. And that should allow us to get this post back in. So yes, the other thing I decided to do is that I wanted the player vending machines, that's the word, set out front in this porch, and obviously having one foundation piece wide was not going to leave you any room to get down between them, so we've gone 3 wide, which is, again, still wider than I wanted, but it sits more centrally rather than if I just use an even number, in which case it'd be kind of off to one side, which I wouldn't really like the look of. So, wanted an arch roof on this one. It being 3 wide, we're going to have to use some angled ones and flat in the centre, so here we go. Nice and easy, make sure that lines up. I know some people like to set the lines at cross angles, but to me it drives me a bit nuts to see that, so nice to have them all lined up. We just need to connect the extra distance to the top of the roof here. A couple of the short pillars on top. A little bit awkward with this one. Yeah, come on. There we go. Incremental. And we'll move back on inside. So, stick a couple of windows in here. Decided to have a couple overlooking the porch here, so you can sort of see out to the player vending from inside the house if you like. And then we're going to go with, ultimately, 1 in from each corner, with the middle section being a regular wall, so sort of alternating windows, really, at least on this lower level. Although we'll put the ones in the back a little later on. And just to make it a little bit more interesting, we're going to mix and match with the textures a bit, so the upper level is going to be wood. There we go. So there are a couple of ideas in this build that I wanted to borrow from my last Through the Keyhole episode, taking a look at some of your guys' builds. So there are some things in there that I found particularly inspirational, I suppose, which was kind of the idea behind the series. So I'll make sure I link that up on a card in the top right corner, so if you want to take a look at that, you can do, and have a look at the places I've got a couple of ideas from. Is where we've got the double height walls, but you'll see where I'm going with that in just a moment. So we've gone with the wooden walls for the internal piece here, but I'm actually going to swap those out for stone ones later, brick ones rather, so they actually look a little bit better inside, give it a little more character. One of the key things I did know I wanted to do was have a double staircase like this either side of that main walkway through the middle. So got those in place, gives it a little bit more character, makes the stairway a bit more of a feature of the build. A couple of extra floor pieces on here because I wanted to try and make that upper floor a little more interesting. But ultimately it just doesn't look good, so they'll be coming out in just a moment. However, before we do that, we need a roof. So angled corner pieces, and then onto the just sloping roof pieces between them. There we go. One thing I really wanted to do with this was put a second layer on the roof, but unfortunately roof pieces won't snap to other roof pieces for some reason, not without a wall piece to help them. So you're stuck to a sort of more or less single height roof, which is a bit annoying, but it looked kind of cooler if I'd been able to take up a bit higher. But we managed. Unfortunately, I couldn't put a coupler on the top either. For some reason with the flat roof pieces it didn't want me to do that. So an outright flat roof it is. It works, it's not really looking up too much in this build anyway, but which is kind of ironic given the height of it, but there we go. So, as previously mentioned, get those pointless floor pieces out, stick some railings on. Now we have a mezzanine bedroom area. And the main build is kind of coming together now. Wanted a little balcony out the back, so dead simple. We can use some wooden foundations, snap those straight on the side, stick some railings on there. Did have a look at the white picket fences, but they don't snap, so, well, lots of the foundations anyway. So, that didn't really work out very well, so back to the basics, but if its results account, I'm happy with how that looks. Bit of light, we'll make the last few adjustments. So we'll get some windows into what will be the kitchen and the workshop. Decided to go for the shorter, wider double window thing here. Don't quite know what you call them. They look like they should open, but they don't. Those ones anyway. I felt it had a bit more of a kitchen vibe, more of a country kitchen vibe. That's sort of thing that I was going for the kitchen there. And as soon as it's the back half of the house, we'll match it on the workshop area. So, last thing, picked up a couple of free wallpapers from the Atomic Shop, and I will be going on and picking up some of the ones that we have to pay items for eventually, because unsurprisingly they're much nicer. For now, all we've got is the free ones, so we'll see what we can do with that. That's simple to do, just head over to the Edit tab, hop one across, and then once you highlight the walls, you can just change the wallpaper. Dead easy. So we've got red, and we're going to have a look at the black in a moment. We'll try a couple of different ones out. Ultimately, I decided it was going to look better the other way up if we had it darker at the bottom and light bright red at the top. So, switch those over. Quick look. See what I mean? A little less over the top with the red there. Swing around. Nice and easy to get all this done. Doesn't take very long at all. There we go. And skipping that one in the middle because I want a little bit of an accent wall in there. Put that one black. There we go. A little bit of character. Kind of looks a bit too much like a face though. So, as I said before, I'm going to whip these wooden walls back out again. I want to change them out for the brick ones. Just gives it a little bit more of an interesting accent, and it's more in keeping with the inside of the workshop here. Or what will be the workshop anyway. Obviously we'll wallpaper the inside of the kitchen, so that'll be a little bit more appropriate for that as well. Get the door on there. Sticking with the wooden frames here for that more country cottage vibe. Albeit a ridiculously large one. And there we go, the main structure. So, a little bit of decoration later. It's tour time. So, heading on around the outside. As I say, not the most creative structure in the world. It's fine, but a little bit boxy for my taste. The windmills do help break that up a little bit, but on the other hand, if you're wanting something simple, easy to do, and that will look good when you're in it, I think it ticks that box pretty effectively. A little bit of the balcony there with the volumetric lighting looking quite nice around about sunset. Sunset or sunrise? One or the other, I forget now. Might even be sunrise actually, I think that's facing east. Yeah, swing a little bit around and have a look at the porch. Again, still a little on the boxy side. Kind of wish it was a little more creative in hindsight, but it does work, especially once we get around the front. It starts to look really quite cool. I wanted to do something involving ramps on the front here rather than the stairs, but we're just too close to the build area. The house is just too big for that, so I have to make do with what's available. One thing I did forget to do, if you want to power those vending machines inside the porch there, you basically need to change these walls out for windows, open them up and run a power cable through the window, and then you switch them back to walls and it basically just clips straight through. It's a much tidier way of doing it. What I actually went back and did was connect the two nearest the house and then ran the two front ones off those, so we didn't have wires trailing around everywhere. But all in all, I suppose it didn't attract anybody while I was trying to do a tour, so there's that, which is always a good thing. Nice little country vibe. As I said, the decoration in particular is what brings this to life in my opinion. Really happy I managed to get good use out of the pictures. Wouldn't mind a couple of larger pictures, but it is what it is. Building ridiculously large, so they do look quite small. A couple of pillars there with the nuclear winter statues on the top. Quite like the look of those. And I like the fact that the various things that go on the top of the pillars snap to them, which is cool. So looking over here at a little seating area, this is an idea I've borrowed from one of the creators in the Through the Keyhole video, that, as I say, will be up on the card in the top right. Stacking the bookcases. I'm pretty sure that person had the large bookcases and just stacked two of them, which I don't currently have the plan for, so we may do with the small ones. The original looks slightly better, if I'm honest, but yeah, we do what we can. So, I really do like the effect of having the exposed brick inside here. I think it looks really cool, especially with a little bit of wallpaper as well. So, down the corridor and into the kitchen. The Thanksgiving dresser there. I'm quite happy to have things like that. It makes them a much more a nice homely look. Nice bits and pieces of furniture. Chemistry station as always improvised with a sink. Actually, I say as always, we've now got sinks in the atomic shop, so I shall be picking those up in time for the next build. Unfortunately, I didn't have, unfortunately weren't available rather, in time for this particular build. Out onto the balcony, I'm getting very, very close, if not right up to the build budget here, so unfortunately, not a great deal of furniture out here, but just enough to imply what we're looking at here. A couple of water purifiers as well, making the use out of the location. Really happy with how the God rays look in this particular video, actually. I'd noticed it as I was doing the tour, but watching it back, it looks really cool. I like that. So, taking a look over this side, we'll have a look around the workshop. Again, I would have liked a few more options for decorating this. Still struggling on that, but a few stash boxes put together make a little bit of the right vibe. Table in the corner there. It would have been a small enough space. I think I managed to make it work. Quite happy with how it looks. It's very, very workshop feeling with its stone floors and whitewashed walls, or formerly whitewashed walls anyway. So quite happy with the look there. Take a little swing back through the living space again and take a look upstairs at the bedroom. Nice grand piano in the corner. Funny, in every other build I put the grand piano in, it looks huge. When I put it in this one, where I thought it might be big enough to kind of look right in the space, it now looks too small. Oh well, what can you do? Another thing I wouldn't mind having is a few more rug options. They're a little limited at the moment, so I mean we've got some fairly horrible carpeting options available, but some more things to put down on the floor, break up that texture would be really nice to have. But nice little seating area, a few bits and pieces up on the wall, nice little workspace, desk area, and a bed right in the centre. Pride of place. Yeah, quite happy with how this looks. A few more design ideas would have been nice, and options in there in terms of creativity really would be cool. Hopefully we'll expand that as time goes on. Put a couple of display cases in as well by the front door, and unfortunately with the build budget being, as I say, basically maxed out, they're slightly empty at the moment. I have to assume they got looted in the years following the war. Although why they wouldn't loot the rest of the furniture, I don't know. There we go. So all in all, yeah, I really like the way the inside sort of came to life, and I really like having the pillows on that porch actually. Turned out really well. But a little simple from the outside. Well, pop back a little bit and switch over to the night time, take a look around at the lighting in the evening, which works out quite well. It's reasonably homely and warm. Quite like that. There's a couple of little bits and pieces on the lighting job that I'm particularly pleased with. A neon sign up over the door there. Nice and bright. They are pretty cool, those neon signs. And a few more options there. Seen a few people go absolutely to town with them. It's quite spectacular, I think would be a good word. And moving on in, as per, sticking with oil lamps and oil lamp posts to give the warming look to the light. You can see around the top half I've put a few spotlights on the roof just to illuminate the paintings, particularly on the top half. It means the bottom half of the room keeps that sort of darker, warmer vibe to it, but it keeps the top half illuminated with the pictures well lit as well, which is quite cool. I like how that worked out. Also like the feeling of height from the double height walls and the high roof as well. Quite happy with how that turned out. A quick chuff in the kitchen. A little dim in here. Some nice skins on the cooker there, the stove, and with the wooden furniture and stuff makes for a nice little complement. The light flooring. The little work surface I've got there next to the chemistry station of the cooker is just one of the stash boxes. Basically the smaller version of the one you sort of see in the corner there. I just flipped around and faced to the wall so it looked more like a work surface than a set of drawers. Not too much light out the back here, just a little bit, so you sort of see what's happening across the water whilst not being totally in the dark either. So quite like the way this came out. Wouldn't have minded putting a couple of oil lamps out here maybe as well, but build budgets and all that. Heading into the workshop, we've got a much cleaner, brighter look, because you need to be able to see what you're doing if you're going to be working in the evening. The fluorescent light on the roof there, you'll see in just a second. Maybe not. It's a fluorescent light anyway, but it fills the space quite nicely, just the one light in there, and gives it the nice clean white look you'd want for a workshop. Finally found a use for the chaise longue as well. I was quite happy about that. Never really fits in anything else I've done. Considered using it before, but this one it actually kind of feels like it belongs a bit more, which I'm quite happy about. Heading upstairs, not too brightly illuminated around the bedroom area, a little bit more dim and muted, which is kind of what you want. More of a homely vibe. Got bedside lanterns. The glow-in-the-dark map is a little on the bright side compared to everything else, but I was running out of options I hadn't already used on the wall there, so trying to keep things interesting and varied. I do like the cuckoo clock, really glad I picked that up. Terminal on our little workspace. One drawback to having the roof so high, I couldn't clip the chimney on that fireplace through the roof and have the smoke go outside, unfortunately, but tucked in the corner like that, it's not too obtrusive, so that's not too bad. Little nuked globe there. And then we'll swing around and head back outside. So, thank you very much for watching, ladies and gents. I do hope you enjoyed that and found it interesting. Quite happy with how the decoration in particular turned out on this one. If you did like the video, please do consider dropping likes, subs, etc. It's always very, very much appreciated. As always, social media links down in the description as well if you want to keep up to date with me on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter. And if you haven't already, do drop by on one of the live streams as well. We're having a lot of fun playing Fallout and a few other bits and pieces as well. So do keep an eye out for those. For now, I say thank you very much for watching. And I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.